Hey guys, how you doing? I'm gonna start with another video on the my tier list for the stats and Swarm of League of Legends. I've said this with my other videos. People have made tier lists about their stats and the champions and things like that, but they've never beaten the game on extreme or they haven't maxed everything out. So I'm going to give you my tier list on what items I think are good. What stats I think are good and what stats I think are bad based on my personal preference and my experience in the game with the hours that I've put in. So let's start off by saying all of these are good, right? They're all good, but it just some of them you want to level up first, and some of them you want to level up last. Some things you want to prioritize, right? So let's get started with the very first thing that you want to level up before anything else is going to be gold. Gold is the first stat that you want to level up. It is the most important stat. You have to spend money to make money, baby. And it's less than 10,000 gold to actually level this all the way up. So once you level it up, you get plus 45% on your gold. And it's just good. Just good. The first thing you want to level up. The second thing that you want to level up is actually experience. It's experience because the faster you level up, the more chances you get to get your weapons and your passives. That way you can get to level 40 very quickly. Okay, so experience I think is the second thing that you want to level up. I don't know why there's two boon durations here. The third thing that you want to level up is going to be Anima power. And Anima power is the best stat in the game. And to unlock it, though, you have to beat Aatrox on hard. So you have to beat the beach map on hard difficulty. Once you do that, you unlock this Anima power. Now, Anima power has 100 different, 100 levels to max it out, which is a lot. And it costs a lot of gold every time you level it up. But when you do level it up, you get 1% damage, you get 1% pickup radius, you get 1% ability haste. Sorry, you get 1 ability haste, and you also get 1% movement speed for every level. So what that means is when you get to level 100, you have 100% extra damage, you have 100% pickup radius, you have 100 ability haste, and you have 100% extra movement speed. Now, of course, obviously, this is good on every champion, right? I think this is probably the best on Xayah and Riven, but Anima Power, good on every single champion. You want this. You want to max this out. But even when you get to Extreme, you're not going to have this maxed out. It's going to take a while. The next thing that I recommend to level up, the third thing, is Ability Haste. I think Ability Haste is good. It scales with all your weapons. It scales with your passives, except for Riven. But it scales with all of your weapons, right? The faster you have those things off of cooldown, the more the swarms die. And I think that's just good. So you definitely want to max this out. Area size. I think area size is actually pretty good. I think it's good on almost every single champion. I would definitely put it in probably actually A tier. I think it's actually really good. But I wouldn't max this out first. Since we're not basing this in game, we're only basing this on the stats of the upgrades. I'm gonna put it in B tier. Okay, but in game, I think it's more towards an A. Armor. Again, we're not basing this on in game. We're basing this on the stats to level up first to upgrade. I think armor is definitely a C tier. It helps you get hit a little bit more, but if you know how to move around the map well, and if you know how to have that good movement, you don't really need the max armor, right? I'm going to say one thing before I even continue, and that is when you unlock one of these stats, put at least 1 point into every stat because it's cheap. The first two levels are very, very cheap, right? Once you start getting into that higher level, it's not cheap anymore. So because armor has a lot of levels, I'm going to put it in C for sure. Boon duration. Boon duration is that thing that you pick up for the misfortune circles, the little trials for the misfortune thing that they help you out. It gives you plus 25 and plus 50% extra time. I'm going to put it in D tier. You don't really want to level this up right away, but because it's cheap and there's only two levels, you can level it up pretty quickly. Crit chance. Crit chance is good on obviously champions like Xayah and Jinx and Yasuo. Obviously, it's not that great on like Leona, but it works even on Seraphine, even on Briar. So I think crit chance is A. And it's just pretty good. It's just pretty good. You definitely want it to level this up if you're playing Jinx or Xayah or Yasuo. Damage. Now, we all know damage is great, right? We want to deal more damage. Usually people, when they play like RPG games, they usually level up damage first, right? Before defense. But in Swarm, damage has a lot of upgrades. There's a lot of different times you have to upgrade it, and it costs a lot of gold. And I think it only maxes at 0 or 70% extra damage, which sounds like a lot, right? But you have to spend a lot of gold to actually get that maxed out. I actually maxed out damage last. I maxed it out last because it was expensive. There were a lot of levels, and you're not going to see that 10% extra damage. You're not really going to see it. Every level is just 10% extra damage, which isn't that much. You're still going to one-shot the swarms at the beginning of the map. At the beginning of the map, you're still going to one-shot them, so it doesn't really matter that much. I definitely would level this up last, like I did. Duration is good. It reminds me of ability haste. You get to have your abilities last longer, right? And I think that's good. I will put this in B tier. Yeah, I'll put this in B tier. Okay, duration is good, but ability haste is just better. And also speaking about damage, why would you want to damage things more when you can have your abilities up more, which would kill them, right? So ability haste is just better than damage. Health regen. Health regen is the stat that you want to put at least 1 point into the moment you unlock it. That way you don't die, right? So I think it's good. I think when you unlock it, it's only +3 health regen. And I think when it's maxed out, it's not that much either. I think it's like 12 or 15. 12 or 15, but it still helps. So I think once you unlock this stat, put 1 or 2 points into it and just kind of leave it alone until you get further into the game and you have more gold. So because of that, I'll put it in A tier. Maximum health. Now remember, this isn't this is a percentage, so it actually scales really well with like Leona and Briar. So maximum health is actually pretty good because it's a percentage. So I'm actually gonna put maximum health in A tier. Movement speed. Movement speed, you guys probably say, oh, movement speed is great because we need to move around the map. That way we don't get killed, right? So we can dodge enemies. We can dodge their abilities too. You're right. But if you can move well and you don't get hit and you know how to position yourself, you don't need that movement speed. So I'm going to put movement speed actually in B tier. Again, I'll say this with ability haste as well. Why do you need to move around the map more when you can just kill them with your ability haste up? Pickup radius. Pickup radius is actually the last thing you probably want to level up. It's only good on like Xayah or Riven if you're farming for gold. Pickup radius is just, it's not that great. Projectiles. The very last one, projectiles. Projectiles is obviously good on champions like Xayah and Jinx. Okay, it does work with Alawi as well. It works with her tentacles. It does work with Yasuo as well. You get an extra tornado. So projectiles is really good, but obviously it doesn't work on champions like Leona, right? Unless you have an item, right? So I'm actually gonna put projectiles in A tier. It's pretty good. Pretty good thing to level up. So this is my tier list for the stats in Swarm. So you definitely want to max these out first, these top four, and then you probably want to max these last. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. I will upload one more video about the augments in Swarm. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.